I want you to picture two apartments. Same city, same neighborhood, similar rent. The first apartment belongs to someone earning $95,000 per year. Walk inside and you will find a 75-inch television mounted on the wall, a leather sectional that cost $4,000, a kitchen full of appliances, most still in their original boxes, closets overflowing with clothes, many with tags still attached, and a spare bedroom quietly converted into storage for items that have not been touched in years. This person checks their bank account with a knot in their stomach. They are two missed paychecks away from crisis. The second apartment belongs to someone earning $52,000 per year. Walk inside and you will notice space. A modest couch, a reasonably sized television, a kitchen with exactly the tools that get used regularly, a closet with clothes that actually get worn. The spare bedroom is actually a bedroom. This person checks their bank account with calm confidence. They have 18 months of expenses saved and invest 20% of every paycheck. Same neighborhood, same rent range, same grocery stores, same economy. But the person earning almost half as much has nearly 10 times the financial security. This is not a story about income. It is a story about the hidden relationship between stuff and money that most people never understand. The first person is not reckless in any obvious way. They do not gamble. They do not have expensive addictions. They are not buying private jets or designer watches. They simply accumulated a lifestyle that requires every dollar they earn to maintain. The second person discovered something that changed everything. Owning less does not mean living worse. It means living deliberately. And deliberate living creates financial margin that most high earners never experience. Today, I want to walk you through the minimalist money rules that separate people who always seem to have money from people who never do, regardless of income. These rules are not about deprivation. They are about understanding that every object you own has a second price tag attached to it. The first cost is obvious. It is the purchase price, the number on the receipt. But the second cost is quieter and often more dangerous. It includes storage, maintenance, mental energy, and opportunity cost. That treadmill you bought does not only cost the amount you paid for it, it requires space in your home. It needs to be cleaned around. It reminds you, every time you see it, of a version of yourself you promised to become but did not maintain. That boat sitting unused is not just a boat. It is insurance, repairs, registration, cleaning, guilt, and money that could have been invested. Every possession asks for something from you. Some ask for space, some ask for money, some ask for attention, some ask for emotional energy. Minimalists are not people who hate nice things. They are people who finally ask the most important question. Is this thing worth everything it keeps costing me? Most people never ask that question, not because they are careless, but because they were never taught to calculate the true value of ownership. So let me give you the first rule that quietly separates financially secure people from financially stressed ones. Calculate cost per use before any purchase. Before buying anything, estimate how many times you will realistically use it. Not how many times you hope to use it, not how many times you imagine using it when motivation is high, but how many times you will actually use it when life gets busy and routines settle in. Divide the total cost by that number, and suddenly the illusion fades. A $200 jacket worn twice costs $100 per wear. A $400 jacket worn 200 times costs $2 per wear. The expensive jacket becomes the smarter decision. The cheap impulse becomes the luxury mistake. This simple math cuts through emotion, marketing, and social pressure faster than any budgeting app ever could. And once you start thinking this way, something unexpected happens. You begin to see purchases not as moments of excitement, but as long-term commitments. That $300 kitchen gadget you plan to use twice a year suddenly reveals itself as a $150 per use mistake. That expensive mattress used every night becomes one of the best investments you will ever make. The math does not judge. It reveals. But understanding cost per use naturally leads to a deeper realization. Because the real problem is not just what we buy, it is what we keep. This leads to the second rule, one that feels uncomfortable at first but incredibly liberating once practiced. Apply the replacement test to everything you already own. Walk through your home slowly. Look at each item not as something you possess, but as something you are choosing to keep paying for. Then ask yourself one brutally honest question. If this item disappeared today, would I spend money to replace it tomorrow? Not someday. Not maybe. Tomorrow. Most people discover something shocking when they do this exercise. Entire shelves of items fail the test instantly. The bread maker that was used twice. The hobby equipment from an interest that faded months ago. The clothes that looked exciting in the store, but have not been worn in over a year. These items stay in our homes not because they are useful, but because they are reminders of money already spent. And here is where psychology quietly enters the picture. People keep things not because they need them, but because letting go feels like admitting a mistake. Yet the truth is far more powerful than that discomfort. Keeping useless items does not recover past spending. It only continues future spending through space, maintenance, and attention. Letting go is not loss. Letting go is the moment you stop paying rent on past decisions. And once you feel that relief, even briefly, you begin to recognize a pattern that explains why so many high earners feel broke. They are not buying necessities, they are upgrading perfectly functional lives. And that realization leads directly to the third rule, the one that quietly drains more wealth than people realize. Never upgrade out of boredom, because boredom is one of the most expensive emotions in modern life. Your phone still works, your car still runs, your furniture still serves its purpose, yet the moment a newer version appears, dissatisfaction quietly enters the room. Not because your life became worse, but because comparison made your current reality feel outdated. Companies understand this better than consumers ever will. They do not sell products. They sell dissatisfaction with what you already own. And if you are not aware of this pattern, you will spend years replacing things that never actually needed replacing. But once you stop upgrading out of boredom, something interesting happens. Your expenses slow down, but your awareness speeds up. You begin to notice how easy it once was to spend, and how little resistance existed between desire and action. That observation naturally leads to the next rule. Create friction for spending and ease for saving. Because human behavior always follows the path of least resistance. If buying something takes 3 clicks, you will buy more. If saving requires effort, you will save less. But if buying requires waiting, thinking, and intentional steps, your decisions change automatically. Something as simple as a 24-hour waiting rule eliminates most impulse purchases because urgency fades faster than logic. And when spending slows down, space appears. Not just physical space in your home, but financial space in your life. That space introduces a powerful concept that very few people define early enough. Define what enough looks like before your income grows. Because if you never define enough, you will chase more forever. A bigger home will feel necessary. A newer car will feel justified. A better lifestyle will feel deserved. And without realizing it, you will upgrade your expenses every time your income increases, leaving you working harder but feeling no freer. But when enough is defined clearly, income increases stop feeding consumption and start building freedom. And this is where everything connects to the final rule, the one that transforms money from numbers into power. Measure wealth by optionality, not accumulation. Not by how many things you own, but by how many choices you have. Can you leave a toxic job without panic? Can you take months off to care for someone you love? Can you walk away from opportunities that pay well but cost your peace? These are the real measurements of wealth, and they only exist when there is distance between what you earn and what you spend. So here's what I want you to do starting today. Walk through your home and identify just 5 items you would not replace if they disappeared. Remove them. Feel the difference. Then apply the 24-hour rule to your next non-essential purchase and watch how quickly desire fades when time is introduced. And if this message challenged the way you think about money, subscribe and share this with someone who feels trapped by their income, because the truth is simple but rarely spoken. Financial freedom does not begin when you earn more. It begins when you finally decide that your life is worth more than the things you store inside it.